Now, if you don't ask, you don't get. Now, Pop Squash, one of my subscribers on the YouTube channel, asked me to have a look at Nano Dimensions. They are an Israeli electronic tech company specializing in 3D printing, but they're on the US stock market, so easily tradable. But they also were saying in their comments that they heard on Reddit that it was a potential target of a short squeeze. And for those who don't know what the short squeeze is, I'll put a link to one of my videos at the end of this one explaining that. But I'm going to have a look at the technical analysis of Nano Dimension to see where, if the price does, burst on upwards due to a short squeeze, where it could be going next. And if it doesn't happen, what's going to happen to the price. And also right at the end of the video give you some examples of options trades that you could put on around any bullish point of view you might have around the trade. So with that, let's get into the analysis. Now, before we get started, I did have a look at the short interest of Nano Dimension. It's not massive compared to other stocks that you expect to be short squeeze. I think it was around 9-10%, so not massive, but still has potential for that sort of event. But in front of us we've got the weekly chart for, like I say, Nano Dimension, NNDM, the ticker, and quite frankly it hasn't been a great story for quite a few years now. If you go back even further than this, the price has dropped down even from more dizzier highs, but you can see even from 2018 it's down nearly 99%, so that's a massive fall. And even since sort of springtime of 2021, down, as you can see, 80% in price, and all the volume traded around just above 6-7 sort of area. On the right there you can see the volume at price analysis. So really the longer term picture not looking great at the moment. So for those of you who are bullish the stock, then I've included the 4-line break chart. Helps me see where reversals are. Next sort of area is 3.95 to 4, and I've also put Fibonacci's on top of the line break chart because you can do that to give you some levels, and we've got numbers around 7-9 for more of an explosive move in the shorter term. So some numbers to think about there if you are bullish. Daily Heiken actually also not painting a great picture though. In the shorter term, if you look down the bottom there, the signals are turning a bit more bullish. It seems to have petered out the price around those mid-early $3 area. In terms of volatility, it can get volatile. It has been more in the past over years back, but now trading around 60-65%. So returning to its sort of more longer term average. And volume, as you can see, has been trailing down actually for a long while to only about 2.5 million volume there. So explosion, look for that volume breakout and you could see the price jump quite considerably. But heading on to the price, the trend's downwards. The 2 pink line box breakout is showing a sell signal, and our regression trend, it's holding along the middle of that pink, light pink, light blue shaded areas. So it's still got some standard deviation moves to both the upside and the downside still in it. But with that trend, and there is no short squeeze, then you've got to think it's still a bearish stock. Onto the much shorter term with the Renko chart, I've used a 0.08 cent block size. That's to give me a bit more action in the shorter term. As you can see, all the signals at the moment were the regression line, the top one, and the stochastics, both bullish, whereas our trend line, the DMI right at the bottom, the filter showing it's bearish, so neutral there. I still wait until they all turn bullish to get excited. And onto the price, you can see, like I said, that level around about the 3-ish numbers where we've had a few touches around those Fibonacci lines doesn't want to go below at the moment. Currently in a small short-term uptrend as it approaches the 2-line pink box breakout setup. So pretty neutralish there in terms of price for at least 2022. And if we're talking upsides, similar to the other chart patterns really, maybe first stop around the 5 area, then 7s and then 9s to the upside. Downside, still some movement, like I said, 2.5, 1.5 sort of zone for a move down south. Now remember, my score here is just based on technical analysis. I'm not building any social sentiment from somewhere like Reddit, for example. So it's just on the technicals, and I'm going to give it a weak bearish overall. It does look like the price is sort of petering out at this sort of 3 area. And watch this space if you want to take it into account sentiment. But if you are bullish, then up the top there we've got bullish entry area around 3.954 using that 4-line break chart. High Kanashi, bit of a mixed bag as with Renko, so weak bearish there. And into targets, upside 2 to 1, 3.5 to 1, and downside 1.66 to 1 and 2.5 to 1. But like I say, based just on the technicals, weak bearish. Now I promise you some options ideas for the bulls out there. Now I went to my broker First Trade and clicked onto their options play options wizard, and just put in I was bullish, put in the ticker, and for some sort of trading opportunities, if say you had $1,000 to invest in this sort of trade, we've got on the left there the buy 271 shares, in the middle buying the May 2022 3.5 calls, that's 3 of them. And then on the right hand side we've got a call vertical spread for you. Now the green circles there all indicate that they're quite good trades, and actually the calls in the middle stand out the most. Now I played around with the inputs, and you can do with this sort of simulator. I pushed the price up to $6, which was one of my targets from the technical analysis, to see what the return would be. So on your $1,000, our middle trade, just buying the calls there, $609 profit and a whopping 422% return. So if the price can move, then it's got some good dollar upside for you there. And even the vertical call spread there, 185% return. So if you've got that sort of account, you can play around with the options ideas to create a point of view, and it's got the volatility to move the stock. So watch the space, get onto Reddit, see what they're talking about, marry the two together, and maybe come up with a trade around that. So Nano Dimension, maybe a stock to watch, especially if you are following the social sentiment side of things in Reddit and places like that. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the stock and where it could be heading next. And oh yes, I forgot that I was going to share with you a video on short squeezes and how to find them. So if you're interested in learning, then take a look.